Hi everyone and happy Monday. We have this cute planner page to do today, the two dragons. Now I have from Small Victories. I have done this page before. I wasn't very keen on how I did it, to be honest, so it's nice to have the chance to do it for you again. And what I thought we would do, I wanted to make it autumnal. I thought it's that time of year, we've got all these leaves, it would be really fun. Now I'm quite okay with autumnal colour palettes, but I thought we would find one from this book. A lovely book, Practical Colour Combinations. And there's this page here called Autumn Orchard. It's page 176 for anyone that's got the book. And we got the choice really. What we can do is we can just pick out all of the colours and use them. We can do 2, 3, 4 or 5 colour combinations from the colours. Now I did wonder whether to pick out a combination for each dragon, so they're different. So we've got we've obviously got our two dragons. Now here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 colours. So we could do a couple of 5 colour combinations. I quite like having quite a few colours to do. So we've got this one with the sort of orange and peachy greens. Oh, we've got dark browns and things. What I'm going to do is pick out all these colours from my pencils first. So I've got the Polychromos because I looked at all these colours and I thought I can find those in Polychromos or very close matches. So our first one is called Harvest Orange, and for me, oh, where's my, I've got a swatch chart. Hang on, I've got a swatch chart here. For me, that Harvest Orange is most like the terracotta. So we're going to grab that first and put that aside, if I can find it. There it is. So here's our terracotta. I don't need to show you the pencil really at this stage. The next one here is called Maple Syrup, and I'm thinking that's a burnt ochre. Okay, that's what it looks like to me. And then we have this sort of peach chiffon, which absolutely is beige red. But, or is it close to cinnamon? Cinnamon. Okay, cinnamon. So what I'm doing is I'm just eyeballing the colour on the sheet. You can't see it all. And then this one, and just working out, getting the closest I can. You could swatch them out and put them next to it and see which one matches best. A bit lazy for that. 4-leaf brown looks really dark brown, so I'm going to go for the Van Dyke brown. That's one of our darkest. We do have darker, but I think that's a good one. Then we have this colour called Mellow Peach. Can you see that? It doesn't really look like any colours that I have. This one is quite different. We could not get it. We could. It says it's a yellowish orange, but for me that isn't any of the colours we've got. The dark Naples ochre is probably the closest, and I might actually grab that because where are you? Because it will be nice to have a yellow. Okay. Then we have Harvest Apple. Look at this really deep red. I think that looks like our Indian red. Then we have a Fall Green, sort of a yellowish green. It's quite dark though. So I'm thinking Permanent Green Olive. I've just got a nice new one out, so that's rather nice. Then we've got this colour called Autumn Yellow, and it's a greeny yellow. Again, we don't really have that tone. I'm thinking May Green is the closest, and then we have this Withered Green, a dry tinge yellow green. I'm thinking we might an earth green yellowish for these two. Not quite right, but I think they'll be good. They're nice colours. So here's our colours. Whoops, let's bring them across for you. So that is the combo. Now what I could do is I could just use all of them on all the dragons, or I could pick out some of these, a couple of these palettes. So if I pick out this palette, we've got the dark brown, whoops, it's quite difficult to tell which colours. I think it's that one, that one, that one and that one. So we've got like that mixture. We could just use the remaining 4 for the other dragon. I think that might be too limiting. I think I'm going to just use them all. Okay, so we're just going to use all of them. Okay, I just want all the pencils. So that's our palette. Let's just put my bookmark back in there so I remember which one I used when I'm writing it up later. Writing it up, it's not an essay, just writing down what I use. So that's that. We can put that away. We don't even need the pencils now. So here is our page. Now I'm probably going to do one today, one tomorrow. It just seems to make sense. Let's come in closer to our top dragon. Here it is. So we have got elements in this to look at and think about. So we have a flower. We have lots and lots of leaves, obviously, and we have the main dragon with its wings, its horn, its teeth, its ears, all those elements. I'm thinking that I might just start with the flower and make it quite bright and stand outish and use colours for it that I'm not going to use for anything else. So for the flower centre, it does seem quite obvious to go for the dark Naples ochre. So that's where I'm going to start, I think. I'm just going to get going. So I'm going to try and make it a bit darker around the edge. So I've done quite a dark line here, a little dark bit there, a little bit less in the middle, like that. It just seems to add a bit of texture, and these layer up quite nicely. There we go. Now, what sort of colour for the flower? Well, we've got this red. I'm trying to decide because I want the leaves to look autumnal. So I think if I use the red for the flower, this is our Indian red, I think it'll work. I'm going to make it darker at the base and lighter at the tip, the way I very often colour flowers. Now, what I'm thinking is that we've got lots of leaves and we've got greens, but I'm thinking if I colour the dragon in green, then I can leave my more oranges and browns for colouring the leaves, and they'll look more autumnal. What do you say if you say fall? Fall-like? Do you say? You don't say fall-ly? Perhaps there isn't a word. I don't know. We don't really use the word fall. And actually people here are a bit rude about Americans using the word fall, but I don't know why. It's just a word. I don't know whether we ever used it here. A lot of your words we used to use, and then we stopped using them, and you continued to use them. So, you know, we've got nothing to be snobbish about, basically. But some people just are. Ugh. Right. I'm going to grab my greens and do the main part of the dragon, and miss the leaves out. We'll do those last. So I'm thinking the darkest green, which is our permanent green olive. Lovely new one. It's lush. I'm going to do some of the details like the sort of end of the tail on our scales and things like that. So we're going to start here, I think. So I'm going to do it a little bit darker on the outside, like that, and then just fade it a tad towards the middle if I can. It's quite small. If that's a bit tricky, don't worry too much. There we go. I love that colour. It's my favourite green. I think it used earth green yellowish used to be my favourite, but now it's this one. I don't know why. I've changed my mind, but you know how it is. And these I'm just blocking in because I think they need to be they need to stand out, and some of them are quite small. So just, oops, I'm going to sharpen this bit. Oh, wrong sharpener. Got my Tegel there. I don't need that one today. I don't use the Tegel for the Polychromos. I use the Staedtler Norris sharpener for these. There we go. I haven't tried the Tegel, but for harder pencils I just use it for soft pencils. It just seems to work nicely. So everyone's doing okay on this Monday. Oh wow, actually if you're a member, it'd be Friday maybe. Yeah, my members get my videos early as a little compilation. They get they get a compilation of all the series early. If it's just a single video, I don't tend to give them it early. I don't know why. I could do, but there are lots and lots and lots of compilation videos that members get access to, all the old ones as well. So it just makes it a little bit easier to find all the parts of a video rather than having to, basically I just glue them all together using software, obviously not actual Pritt stick. But it makes it a little bit easier to access them. It's just a little perk really. Now, although this horn, I think it must be, is striped, I think I'm going to just, I want it dark around the edge rather than worrying about adding in a stripe. Like that, and then fading it a bit towards the centre. I do like colouring a green dragon, but I think I might do the other one differently. I don't know, I haven't really thought about it yet. But we've got a few other colours we could use instead. I like the idea of doing autumnal leaves on both, but we'll see. I might change my mind. Now, I think I'm going to do these bits. Now, I like to do the edge a little bit darker, but it's so narrow that it's quite tricky. But I'll try to do a bit darker if I can. There we go. And the same on this one. I'm very excited and distracted in my brain. I'm trying to talk to you about what I'm doing, but my brain is thinking about something completely different because this is quite simple colouring. Yeah, I'm thinking about my dancing show. So much excitement. It's on every day now, so I just get my fix every day, and it's so good. I'm so enjoying it. It's great. I have to say, when they first announced who the celebrities would be, I was like, oh, I don't know about those people, sort of thing. Right, I'm grabbing the earth green yellowish. Now I'm going to do sort of this bit, I think, next. So each of these little sections, I think I'm going to go around the edge of them and then sort of fade it towards the middle if I can. Quite small. Do the best I can. You can just block it in if you want. It's easier for you. Well, it would be easier, that's for sure. But if you want an easier option. Yeah, as I say, when they announced who was in it, I was a little bit, oh, I don't know if I like those people, but actually, it doesn't really matter. It's just fun. But there are some people who have been fans of the show for ever since it started. It's 25 years. Oh, not 21, 25 years. So I remember it. We used to watch it before we had the kids. And then when they were babies, they could stay up. And then when they got a little bit older, we would put them to bed before it started and settle and watch it. And then as they got a bit older, we'd let them stay up and watch it with us. And my one son used to dance along. It was lovely. And then now they've grown out of it entirely. They think it's naff. But I talk about it all the time, so they can't not know about it. Poor things. Poor silly. But anyway, we do have quite good political debates, actually. I think it's really interesting hearing their points of view on various things that are going on. I tend to not include my husband. We tend to do it when he's not around because he doesn't really like talking politics. And sort of world current affairs, things in the news, you know. We tend to choose things to talk about that we aren't too emotionally attached to, you know. So we might talk about the fact that in this country they're talking about allowing voting age to go down from 18 to 16, for example. So, you know, what do the younger people think about that? You know, that sort of thing, which isn't too emotive. and is interesting to figure out, to know what they think. You know, it is interesting because, you know, people are like, well, you can start work before you can vote, and you're paying tax, but you've got no control over that. So that's an interesting argument. But I think you can, I'm trying to remember what age you can get married at. With your parents' permission, you can get married quite young. I don't think it's 16, no, is it? That seems too young. I don't know. Anyway, but so that's quite interesting. I think they've always felt it should be young. You should be younger, you know. And in I think in Scotland, for their elections they hold that are separate to ours. For example, you know, council elections, or when they had a referendum to see if they wanted to become independent of the UK, you could vote from 16, but they fortunately voted to stay part of the UK, which I was really pleased about. I was almost offended. I was like, why do you want to leave us? We're nice. And also thinking, you know, I like having that safety of being part of a bigger unit. Do you know what I mean? Just across all sorts of different reasons, financial reasons, trade reasons, you know, that sort of thing. You know, it's a nice feeling. And also, you know, I used to live in Scotland, and if they became independent, I might not have been able to do that, you know, that sort of thing. So I'm just going to sharpen up here. They're a separate country, but obviously there are lots of other reasons, like, you know, they feel they know more about how to rule themselves than we do. I think they feel very far away from the Parliament in London. You know, they're a long way away. Maybe not as far away as some countries are from theirs, but it sometimes feels like the MPs are sort of out of touch because they're so far away, you know. Although, of course, they have houses in their local areas that they represent, and they should visit them. Now I'm going to the May green, which is our lightest green, and I'm going to use it in all the rest of the areas, and then I'm going to decide what to do, because I don't think I'm going to be happy with just plonking it in, though I might use the earth green yellowish for the wings. But so May green now. I don't want to plaster it on, because I want you to be able to see the difference between the two different shades. Sometimes they can look quite similar. So I'm trying to put on a small amount. The sun keeps going in and out. I'm trying to put down a fairly small amount and see what happens. I think you can see the difference, which is good. So I'm happy with that. But I may want to darken it up a bit in places with maybe the other greens. We'll see how it looks. I'm trying to keep it fairly even, which isn't easy for me. Basically, the way I do it is I colour a little bit slower, and if I see a bit that looks a bit lighter, I just go over it again. And it's certainly not the perfect technique, but it can just about work. Oh, we've got some behind here we need to make sure we fill in. It's going to be a little bit tricky filling in between all these leaves, but we'll find a way, like in here. This is odd, because surely we should, oh, it's because the legs there, well, you can't see the rest of the flower. I think we're getting there. It's just making sure that all the little areas are filled in, but of course I can always come back and do it again. I mean, not again, because I won't have done it. I can do it in a bit. Do this leg as well. I probably want to do, I'm just going to wipe my nose a little bit more with the legs, so that they look a little bit more rounded rather than quite flat. But I may or may not. It might just look better if it's plainer. somehow once, because if I put so much detail into all the leaves with different colours, then it might not need, you know, much more. Oh, my nose is running. Is it that time of year the noses start running? I hope not. I hope no one's bringing anything home. Son at uni, he might bring home something. He's usually okay, actually. He doesn't usually pick things up. We make sure we have our vitamin D, and that has made a really, really big difference. Also the fact that the boys are older. I think when you're young, you pick things up more, you know, and as you get older, your immune system improves. I think I had a cold last year for the first time in ages, which was interesting. Actually, did we have COVID? I'm not sure. I don't know. That's the one I seem to pick up. It's interesting, more than colds and things. But fortunately, none of us have ever had it really badly. We've had, we've all got, not all of us, I haven't. The others have got long COVID in a very minor way, in a way that I haven't even talked to the doctor about, you know. Just different symptoms, but nothing serious enough to worry about. Things like smell. My son's sense of smell has got more powerful, and since he lost it for 6 months, I'm just going to make these darker. And my husband's has got worse, and he can barely smell still. But it doesn't seem to bother him that much until I go, "Can you smell that?" It's like, no. Oh, okay. No, we had a bit of a smell issue. Right, browns. Right, I'm going to start with my darkest brown. Remember I picked the Van Dyke. Oh, no wings. I'm going to use the earth green yellowish for the wings. But I'm going to fade them towards the end, just because those little lines there indicate to me that it should be a bit darker there. No, we've had a smell in our downstairs. We cannot work out what it is. So I asked my neighbour, who's lovely, if they're having any trouble with their drains, because they do. They get trouble caused by others, not themselves. So I know that, and she knows I know that. So I wasn't being blaming. And she said no, they've been fine. She said they're always the first to know or notice in the area. So she said no. She suggested it might be a rat that I could smell. But I haven't heard a thing since I blocked up the holes, which is great. Van Dyke brown, I was so pleased that I found them and found where they were getting in, and I haven't heard a thing, so it seems unlikely. So we don't know. Me and my son have tried an experiment. We've closed the door of one of the rooms downstairs to see whether it is really bad, to try and work out which room it is coming from. We smelt it in various areas. Like this morning, I could smell it as I was coming downstairs, right from the top floor. And we've got 3 sets of stairs, but it's coming down from the 2nd floor up, and where my bedroom is, not the attic. My son sleeps there, and I could smell it as I was approaching the 1st floor, and then even more so as I went down to the ground floor. So it was like, ooh. And we can't really tell, is it drains, is it stagnant water where is there a leak somewhere? What we tried to do is eliminate various things. So we ran water down every drain in the house, because we sometimes find that because we don't use our bath, if we don't run water down every so often, we can start to smell a smell coming up from where the U-bend is dried out. So we did that in every place, but that made no difference. I cleaned my washing machine thoroughly with a cleaning pack, and that didn't make any difference. My sister's like, you need to pull out your washing machine and dryer, and I said it's really hard. I'm not sure what to do with these grassy bits. I'm going to leave them for now and have a think. Because the washing machine is underneath the dryer and they're tied together with some cord, and they're very heavy and plugged in and plumbed in, and in behind a board in the cupboard there's a sort of, so lots of things have to be removed. Plus I am not strong enough to do it. My husband's got tennis elbow, so he at the moment, so he can't do. He's waiting for some physio. Oh, I don't know why I did that. Oh, never mind. Next darkest is the terracotta, I reckon would go next. So we're just going to go back over what we've done and just expand that colour a bit. Yeah, so we're trying to eliminate possibilities. I've got an idea of trying something else, which I'm going to try later today. We've shut the door of the cloakroom to see whether it is in there. But I think if it is in there, I've got a few things I could try. There's a little gap where some pipes go into an area. I'm wondering whether it's coming from there, and if I just stuff it with newspaper, whether it'll block it. I don't know. I haven't stuck my nose down in this area to see if it smells. Ooh. Another possibility is obviously to get a little air freshener, but it doesn't really address the problem, does it? It just masks it. But I used to keep one in there when before the kids were born. I used to put one in there, one of those sort of gel ones that just sort of slowly, I found one that I liked. Most of them are hideous, I think. A sort of vanilla one, it was okay. And I used to keep that in there, and then when the children came along and they started crawling about, they used to pick it up, so I had to get rid of it. So that's a possibility just for masking it, but I don't really want to do that. So it's just like, do we have someone in to rip out all the walls to have a look? And, you know, not really. The problem with our little cloakroom is that it's got no window in it, or a fan, vent, anything. There's no air that can get in there. Nowadays, it's the law, you have to, if there's no window, you have to have a vent so that it doesn't get mouldy. But because it's only a cloakroom, that it doesn't get mouldy anyway. But the house was built before those regulations came in, and it would be very difficult to put one in. But I don't know whether it would resolve the problem anyway. Right, next we have our burnt ochre. I'm going to the end, but we are going to add another colour on the end. Yeah, so it's a bit annoying more than anything. And one of my kids keeps feeling sick. I think it's a side effect of meds rather than that, but it's not going to help, is it? Ooh. So anyway, I want to sort it out. But makes me feel like I'm not very clean, and I've got a guest coming later in the week, and I'm thinking, ooh, they're going to smell it and think, yuck. Yuck. Although I know that she has had I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Right, I'm rather liking these colours. It looks very autumnal, doesn't it? I was going to add another colour on as well, because we've still got the cinnamon left, but I'm not sure whether it's really going to need it. And I'm sort of looking around thinking, is there somewhere else I can put it? And I don't really want to put it on these leaves because they look nice without it. But I mean, there's no rule to say I have to use all the colours, so I'm not sure. I'll have a think. I'm hoping I get some post today. I'm expecting a number of items, and one being posted today, so it's unlikely to arrive today. One was posted a few days ago and it's coming from China, so again, that's not going to come very soon. And the other thing, I was expecting to have had it by now, so I'm wondering if it's got lost in the post or whether it hasn't been sent. I shall find out, I guess. I just need to be a bit more patient, but you know how it is. You know how it is. Also, we don't get post every day. So, we've got these grasses. Maybe I could use the cinnamon for the grass. It's going to be an odd choice, but I could try it. That might be interesting. Yeah, I might do that. I'm finding this really relaxing, just doing like the same thing over and over. It's quite mesmerising. I think he's looking very smart. I'm wondering whether to do the next dragon in brown and then do the leaves green, or whether to keep the leaves green or change to have different colour leaves. It's hard to know, isn't it? But we've just got this red and yellow to put into our next one maybe as well. Could do a red dragon. He hasn't got many features. He's just got horns. You can't see him. He's just got, I tell you, he's just got horns and a tail. He hasn't got wings or ears. Oh, he hasn't got ears. I'm lying. He's got ears. So I don't know. Right. There's that bit done. Now I am going to get the cinnamon and try it for the grassy bit, which is, where is it? Here. I think that's going to work. But I'm not going to end there. I'm going to grab, what colour? Yeah, I'm going to grab the permanent green olive, and I'm going to do a little bit of shading on the legs. I don't really want it moved up too much. So here, I just want a bit on the edges so it looks a bit more like it's a bit 3D. I don't want too much. And then, you know, where it's overlapping and at the bottom, that sort of thing. Just a few little bits of colour. Like that. My stomach's rumbling. It's 25 to 12. I think I'm all right for a bit. Like that. And then this one. Oh, this one's a bit more complicated. Just do the bottom. You could do shadows under all the leaves and things like that, but I don't think I'm going to go that far. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. There. Yeah. I think the only thing I feel like I could do is do another layer of May green, because it looks a bit pale. So I'm going to do a little bit more in some areas here, because I feel like I could darken it without it looking too much like the earth green yellowish, which is what I was worried about. I can sort of fade it up so this bit down here look a bit darker and then a bit lighter at the top of the face. And just sort of around here, it just looks to me like it needs a little bit more tidying up as well, going to the edges and things like that, where I haven't quite filled in all the gaps, that sort of thing. But not doing it too much so that you can still see the difference between it and the earth green yellowish colour. Just a few bits. That's better. I'm happier with that. I know I was just fussing a bit, but there we go. I'm so much happier with him than my previous attempt. I have done one in purple and gold, which I really liked, but I really like this one as well. It sounds very modest, doesn't it? But there we go, there is our first one. Tomorrow we're going to do the next one, so please tune in for that. But for now, thank you for watching. Hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and happy colouring.